should all have one box on your screens labeled clock that will show you how much time is remaining. For all senators, the 5-minute clock still applies for your questions. At 30 seconds remaining, you'll hear a bell ring to remind you your time is almost expired. It will ring again when your time has expired. If there's a technology issue, Cameron and Charlie, who are very good at this, will fix it, but we'll move to the next senator until any technology issue is resolved. To simplify the speaking order process, Senator Toomey and I have agreed to go by seniority for this hearing, as we have in the past. At this committee's first hearing, we heard from our witnesses the challenges and struggles Americans have faced over the past year. Anyone who's been doing their jobs has heard these stories. Frontline workers like transit workers, whom we heard from last week, go to work every day worried they'll get the virus on the job and bring it home to their families. Mayors and county commissioners, community leaders wonder how long they can hold on without starting layoffs. Renters see their bills pile up, watching their bank balances dwindle lower and lower, wondering if this will be the month that an eviction notice is posted on their door. Today, more than 4 million people are out of a job. That number keeps climbing. We are still fighting the battle against the coronavirus. Nearly 500,000 of our fellow Americans have died from COVID-19. We know we're facing two crises, a public health crisis and an economic crisis. We have to be clear about that. We can't solve one without solving the other. We know getting our economy back to full strength requires a massive wartime level mobilization to get all Americans vaccinated. We also know that vaccines alone will not put most workers and their families back to where they were a year ago. We want people back to work. We want kids back in school. We want to see Main streets thriving and humming with life again. That requires real federal leadership on a level we've not seen in this country since World War II. As Bill Spriggs alluded to in testifying before this committee, before D-Day, General Eisenhower didn't call President Roosevelt and ask, can we afford to storm the beaches at Normandy? Do we have the money in our accounts? Most people that I talk to in Ohio and around the country are not worried about doing too much in the battle against this virus. They're worried about doing too little. They want to do whatever it takes. 85% of Americans still need a vaccine. Our frontline workers still need PPE. Small businesses still need assistance to keep their doors open. States and cities and towns still need resources and support to open schools safely and keep buses running and libraries open and firefighters on the job. Experts agree the best thing we can do for the country right now is to get resources out the door as quickly as possible to tackle these interconnected problems. Former Fed Chair, now our Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, said if we don't do more, we risk a permanent, her words, scarring of the economy into the future. Economists from across the political spectrum, include many who have testified before this committee, tell us that without strong fiscal support, our economy could spiral even further out of control and take even longer, years to recover. Our witness today, Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell, has expressed some of those same concerns. Just a few weeks ago, after we passed the COVID-19 relief bill in December, Chair Powell said that, quote, support from fiscal policy will help households and businesses weather the downturn as well as limit lasting damage to the economy that could otherwise impede the recovery. Chair Powell has talked to all of us about the risk of falling short of a complete recovery, the damage it will do to people's lives and to the productive capacity of this economy. Those were his words, productive capacity of this economy. President Biden understands this moment. He's risen to meet it with his bold American Rescue Package. It's a plan to both rescue the economy and save American lives. Workers and their families need to see their government work for them now. And this rescue plan must be the beginning of our work to deliver the results that empower people and make their lives better. We need to rethink how our economy operates when a hard day's work doesn't pay the bills for tens and tens of millions of workers, and even middle-class families don't feel stable. Something in the system's broken. We know that. Workers' wages have been stagnant for decades. CEO pay has soared. Corporations get huge tax breaks. Instead of investing in their employees and the communities they serve, management too often rewards itself and its shareholders through stock buybacks and dividends. The wealth and income gaps for women and for Black and brown workers are getting worse, not better. Many families still had not recovered from the Great Recession when the pandemic hit. This didn't happen by accident. It's the result of choices made by corporations and their loyal allies in Washington. They spent years rolling back consumer protections in our financial system, cutting corporate tax rates, using Wall Street to measure the economy instead of the condition of workers. And the same people that have been advocating for these rollbacks, pushing this stock market centered view of the economy, are the same people who say we should not go big on a rescue plan. They say there's no need for the government to help people, that the market should decide who wins and who loses. We all know the market doesn't work when the game is rigged. Corporations have been lining their own pockets, have done so with plenty of government help and intervention. We know that for them, short-term profits are more important too often than their workers. That's why we have to stop letting them run things. Look what's happened in Texas, where a deregulated energy grid failed, leaving millions without power in frigid winter temperatures. People are literally freezing to death in their own homes in the United States of America. Without any rules, energy companies can charge consumers sky-high prices. They even use automatic debits, taking thousands of dollars directly out of people's bank accounts. We know climate change causes severe weather patterns across this country. We know more investment in public infrastructure, not less. We need more, not less. We can't let corporate greed continue to stand in the way. Our nation's central bank plays a critical role in all of this. The Federal Reserve can ensure the biggest banks use their capital to invest in their workers and lend in their communities instead of ginning up stock prices with buybacks and dividends. The Fed can make sure the response to economic and financial crises doesn't just help Wall Street, it helps everyone. It can require that financial institutions take into account the serious risks posed by climate crisis. It can help ensure that everyone in this country has a bank account and access to their own hard-earned money. It can start to undo the systemic racism in the financial system, from black codes to Jim Crow to redlining to locking in discriminatory practices during the last administration. It can make workers the central focus of our economy. Chair Powell, you said just a few weeks ago, quote, "The benefits of investing in our nation's workforce are immense. Steady employment provides more than a regular paycheck. It bestows a sense of purpose. It improves mental health, increases lifespans, benefits workers and their families." Unquote from the chair. What that boils down to is the dignity of work. It means hard work should pay off no matter who you are, no matter what kind of work you do, whether you punch a clock or work for tips or work on a salary or taking care of aging parents. It means we need to start measuring success of